truly the LDS people are told the second coming is going to be a time of destruction, and the true believers will be okay, and the people who are not will not be okay.
Yeah.
So I think feeding into this, you're the chosen generation. This is the last dispensation. Politics are going crazy. There's a lot of discord with people. I think more and more it's feeding into this idea that it's going to happen soon. And I think it scares people. I really do.
Yeah, I feel like we've been told that our whole life. I feel like we've been, the Latter-day Saints,
Yeah.
and definitely Joseph Smith being the prophet of the last dispensation. It's like, okay, so any second now, around every corner, I'm expecting Jesus is going to come. And also all those conference talks about like when Jesus comes, you want to be found doing good or whatever. And that's one of the reasons why I was so active in serving and always doing my callings and stuff like that, because I'm like, when Jesus comes, I want to be able to tell him I didn't waste my time. I was here trying to build the kingdom of God all the time. So it leaves you with this idea that everything is temporary.
Absolutely. I mean, and talking about it being drilled into our head, I had a specific lesson I remember in seminary, 14 years old, my very first year. And we talked about the second coming and how bad it would be for other people. And my seminary teacher literally said, "Who read their scriptures this morning?" And like sat and waited for us to raise our hands. And she said, "Okay, so if Jesus came today, are you going to be the person that wasn't reading your scriptures? Are you going to be the person that wasn't ready? He could come today. What are you going to do?" And it was like, it scared the out of me. And I was 14 years old. I was like, "Oh, I'm so glad I came to seminary today." That's how I felt. And it's scary. I can't imagine still having those beliefs and being worried about your children, your family. What do you do?
Hi, everyone. I'm Megan.
And I'm Kirsten.
And together we are Ex Mormon Snark.
We are here trading our testimonies for major truth bombs.
And we are going to spill all of the Mormon tea and coffee. Coffee.
I have Dr. Pepper, 0 sugar, strawberries, and cream.
That looks
amazing. Little treat to myself.
That looks great. I love it. And as you
good.
can see, our merch is beautiful. This is the t-shirt.
You guys have seen this already, but we just got it today. So we're really excited. Look. Outer darkness or bust. There you go. I was going to say, you can't see the bottom. Megan has the beanie. It's so cute.
I also have a sweatshirt, but I'm not wearing it because with this beanie on, I'm already too hot. So it's super, super comfy. I will tell you, I'm wearing a medium t-shirt. It is snug. So they run a little bit small.
Yeah, they're supposed to be unisex. We do have in the description that they run small. I got a medium hoodie. Again, unisex. Usually I wear an extra small or a small. Just I am a tiny person. So I'm really glad I sized up. So just a reminder, maybe size up if you want it to be a little bigger, even 2 sizes if you want it to be looser fitting. But they are so soft. That was something that was really important to us, is that it was soft, because there's nothing worse than ordering something and you're like, ooh, and you put it on, you're like, this feels like polyester,
So yeah, we desire all to receive it. So please visit the shop.
If you want to. If you don't, it's not going to hurt our feelings. Really, this probably makes us happier than anybody else will be about it.
The only reason that we made merch is because Kirsten and I wanted it.
I was like, I want a hoodie with our logo on it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. It's wintertime. I can probably wear it in the mornings for about an hour.
Right. And again, Snarkian across the arm in hot pink. The hoodie also comes in black. The shirt comes in black. The hoodie, there's not white on there, so we need to add it.
There's not? Okay. I thought there
The
was.
shirt, the shirt comes in pink, black, and white. But it sounds like by the time you see this episode, we're going to have white on there for the hoodie as well.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. Today, I thought we could tackle the subject of why it is that Mormons are so obsessed with the end times. I mean,
Yes.
it should be somewhat obvious because it's in the name. Although I do have to tell you, Kirsten, I spent some time on LDS.org, which is not LDS.org anymore. It's churchofjesuschrist.org. But I was looking through the newsroom because I was looking through the newsroom. And I've noticed that the last probably 10 or so articles that they've posted in there, they reference themselves as the Church of Jesus Christ. They are no longer using the full name of the church because Rusty Nelson is dead. Mormon being a major victory for Satan apparently is not a victory anymore because all of the podcasters with Mormon in their name are getting sued by the LDS Church. Now we can't even call it the LDS Church because it's just the Church of Jesus Christ. They've dropped the Latter-day Saints from almost everything. Like it's still on the buildings, but when they refer to themselves in the news now, it's just Church of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But for our entire life, it's been the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It was burned into our brains that these are the last days and that Jesus could come at any time.
Yep. In the Mormon church, they refer to each like time period where they had the fullest of the gospel, and then there was a falling away as a dispensation. So there was one with Adam, there was one with Abraham. There, every prophet had a dispensation. And Joseph Smith is supposed to be the last dispensation. That was something I was told my entire growing up. I'm sure you as well, Megan, that this is the last dispensation. And they made it seem very obvious that Jesus could come in my lifetime or your lifetime, that we were the most righteous spirits saved for this last dispensation because it was our job to gather Israel. Yeah. If you heard anything different, Megan, I would love to hear that because I'm pretty sure everyone was told that repeatedly.
Yes.
For their entire life. Even my parents. My parents thought that. So
okay, so last time we talked about patriarchal blessings, it was in my grandfather's patriarchal blessing that he would live to see the Savior come. Now he died pretty young.
Yeah.
But still, my grandmother, she died. She didn't die until 2014. And so, I kind of thought, well, if he had lived longer, he probably would have, I was expecting it all the time. I was always expecting Jesus to come any moment.
Right. Same.
And I think it's probably a collection of different things. It's one, it's in the name. Two, we got told by the prophets all the time at almost every general conference that we were the chosen generation. We were the most righteous. We were going to help usher in the coming of the Savior.
Yeah.
Also, just a focus on, since 1973, I think, the LDS church leaders have been telling people to set aside a year's supply of food in case of an emergency. And I think a lot of members read into that and they're like, oh, in case of a disaster, because this all started happening around the time that the Teton Dam broke in Idaho.
Yep.
And lots of people died, houses were flooded, all of that kind of stuff. And so after that, the brethren started talking about have a year's supply of food storage on hand in case of an emergency, a disaster, whatever. And I know that, like when my dad lost his job, he was out of work for a long time. We used food storage a lot. And the same thing happened when, my former husband's business took a downturn. We relied on food storage to supplement and whatever. So there is some wisdom in that. But a lot of people, I think, because in Mormonism, there's like this competition for people to Mormon harder than the other Mormons do.
Yes, absolutely.
To be more righteous than the other Mormons, than the neighbors and all that stuff. And so they're like, well, if a year's supply of food is good, then we should also have a go bag, and we should also have a tent, and we should
Yep.
also store fuel, and we should also store ammunition, and we should, so some people have
Yep.
taken this really to the extreme.
Yeah.
And we saw a side of that, with Lori's beliefs and all of that too, as far as like gathering,
Yeah.
gathering is a part of it, and being
Yep.
prepared for the end of the world.
Yeah. I mean, in my family, my mom often had some sort of food storage. And I remember us having to eat it because she's like, it's going to go bad. We have to, like, eat it. And it was always like really gross stuff. If any of you have ever tried any of that stuff, it's not the most delicious, especially in the 90s. It
It
was
is
not good.
not delicious to the taste.
I remember we had all of these huge buckets of wheat, and there was one summer that my mom was like, "Dude, we need to go through these." And she opened it and they were all full of weevils. If it was
Yes,
awful.
I
And she was
know.
like, "Well, that's a whole waste." Because that's another thing is a lot of these prepper companies that sell these items are also LDS owned. And so it's like, it's
Yep.
another way, cash grab, MLM-ish, because there were literal parties, I guess, that my mom would go to where they would grind their wheat together, or they would learn a bread recipe from grinding the wheat to making the bread to how to freeze the bread properly. So you would have it like gallons of water, all these things. And I remember as I got older, probably into like more my teen years, my mom was really like, oh, to hell with it. Like she was sick of doing it. She was like, it's such a waste of money. Like it was this whole thing. So it's kind of funny. I remember my mom buying the go bags that literally someone in the ward put together, and like you could buy them.
Yeah, I
So
remember activities where we would go to the church on a Saturday and they would have tables lined up, and you would make a 72-hour kit for your family.
yes.
And we
Yep.
always had to pay for it. It was never like
Yep.
provided for us. It was
Yeah.
always like, these are going to end up costing $12 per person or whatever it is.
Right.
Or like
Yeah.
bring your own backpack, or you can buy one here, and then you would put all the stuff that you need for 72 hours. And then we would learn
Yep.
about like setting aside medication and what other things you
Mhm.
might want to put in there. And then
Yep.
I remember also that at one point, we talked about how important it is in South Texas that you would need water for an
Right.
extended period of time. And so somebody
Yep.
went to the Coca-Cola, the local Coca-Cola distribution center or whatever, and bought these
Yeah.
55-gallon drums made
Yep.
from that blue food grade plastic.
Oh, we had them. Yeah.
And they recommended
Yeah.
that we rinse them out 3 or 4 times to get rid of the Dr. Pepper smell and taste, whatever. And then I had these
love
2
it.
55-gallon barrels sitting on the side of my house full of water,
Wow. Yeah.
just in case. As far as I know, they're still there. I should go drive by and see if they're still there, because 2 people have owned my house since then. But yeah, I mean, it was a constant topic
Yeah.
of conversation.
Yep.
It was in all the lessons we would talk about end time. I remember when I was teaching gospel doctrine, and we would have a lesson about the end times or whatever, there would always be that warning in the lesson manual to say, like, don't let people get off onto speculation about what's going to actually happen and where it's going to
Right.
happen, because people were like, oh,
Yeah.
there's going to be an earthquake in wherever.
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of speculation about it, and
Yes.
it's just constantly fueled by all the discussions that we have in church all the time.
Right.
Or that we
And
did have. I got some commenter got mad because I kept referring to it as we and us and whatever. I'm like, no, we're not Mormon anymore, guys. We've made that abundantly clear. That it's called Ex Mormon
yeah.
Snark for a reason. Ex Mormon. Maybe we need to make the X bigger.
Well, and also the snark, like they should know they're coming to a place where we are highly going to mock literally everything that comes across our plate. It doesn't matter what it is. We're going to be snarky about it. So
we are equal opportunity mockers.
Well, correct. And yeah, I don't understand how they don't get that yet. So anyways, going to all this prep stuff, what I have noticed and as you have as well, it's abundantly clear that people are doubling and tripling down on it. Part of it, in my opinion, is people are aware that Mormons are leaving. And part of the doctrine I was taught was people were going to start turning away from God and turning away from the gospel. And they see this as a sign. So many people are leaving. They're being attacked on TikTok. I mean, there was that whole Wall Street Journal article about ex Mormon influencers and how much it's affecting the church. And so I could see, if I was a true believing member, being like, oh, this is another sign.
It's a
Because
sign of the times.
It's a sign of the times. How many times did we hear that? This is a sign of the times. This is a sign that the second coming is nigh. That was a phrase that we heard all the time.
How do you feel being a part of the signs that Jesus is coming?
Oh, I love that, but also like, come on, guys.
Hate it.
Well, and this is the other thing. I feel like you can believe in the second coming as much as you can believe in like a zombie apocalypse. To me, they're on the same level, right? And frankly, if the zombie apocalypse happens, I'm running into the zombies. I don't want to have to look for supplies. I don't want to have to try and I don't want to have to make friends with people that are going to turn on me later. Hello, Negan, best character Walking Dead. I said what I said. That man can drop a one-liner like nobody's business. But like, I don't want to do any of that. So maybe I'm the anti-prepper. I don't know. Like, I have canned goods as much as anybody else because I buy soup in 5, and sometimes I don't always eat one every day. So, it's frustrating to me that there is this doctrine that people see as so true and literal that they're willing to harm others because of fear. I think at the end of the day, this is all based on a huge amount of fear mongering that the church has put into us since the beginning, since Joseph Smith first read the stone in the hat, like, in my opinion.
So, I forgot the name of the movie. It's the one where Michael Douglas is the president and he dates Annette Bening.
Yes. I don't remember what it's called either, but I can see the poster in my mind.
Yes. Michael J. Fox is in it. It's a great movie.
Yes.
I loved it. But there's a line in there about, like the job of a politician is to make you afraid of something and then tell you who's to blame for it. And I feel like the church has been doing that our entire lives, And if they can keep us scared, we're scared of the second coming. We're scared of the afterlife. That's the other thing. I put this in my book. Somebody told me that religion is for people who are afraid of hell, and spirituality is for people who've already been there.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And so, I feel like it is one big fear thing. I mean, I've said before too that religion is a man-made invention to help people deal with their existential fear of death, fear of meaninglessness, fear of, the unknown, all of those things. And Mormonism answers all of those questions for a lot of people, which is it's a safe, comfortable place to be, in a scary, scary world. And so I just feel like if people were not afraid of all of those things, they probably wouldn't be Mormons.
I agree 100%. As I was thinking about this and looking on the churchofjesuschrist.org, I found quite a few quotes. I sent some to Megan that were in the handbook, that were in different lessons, and some that I guess didn't surprise me, but I definitely want to share is specifically from the former prophet who just passed away, President Nelson. And it literally talks about how exciting it is that we are in the end of times right now. And he actually calls the members of the church the heroes because they are the ones that are going to gather everyone.
Shall I read?
Please. And this is from the churchofjesuschrist.org. It's in a lesson on, I want to say James or something. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but it's literally in one of the lessons right now.
Think of it. Of all the people who have ever lived on planet Earth, we are the ones who get to participate in this final great gathering event. How exciting is that? Our Heavenly Father has reserved many of his most noble spirits, perhaps I might say his finest team, for this final phase. Those noble spirits, those finest players, those heroes are you. This is from an address called Hope of Israel.
Yep. So thank you for reading that, Megan, since you had it handy. Right there, he's not saying we as in the royal we, or people to come, or Mormons perhaps in the future. He says you and we, as in I would take that as right now, me, myself, and I, and my family, and the people in my ward and in my stake. This is happening to us.
Yeah.
Even the longest of lifetimes are not over 100 years often, and
Rusty's
usually it's
was.
much. Rusty's was barely.
Barely.
But you know what I'm saying? Like the average lifespan is something like 67 years, or I don't remember. Maybe it's 70 something
I
now.
think it's 72 now or something. I don't know.
But the point being, like, if you are 40, 50, 60 years old, you could say, okay, this is going to happen in the next 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
And that can scare a lot of people. So I took a wilderness class at BYU. I thought it sounded really fun, and I was majoring in recreation management, youth leadership. I wanted to work for nonprofits. I wanted to go out and do good in the world. That was really my dream, was to work for, Make-A-Wish or a Miracle League or something that I was just going to go out and do good. Because in my mind, every other thing in the world is corporate America, and I hated it. Now I've come to find out, because I've gotten older, so are nonprofits, but we won't go down that road.
Right.
Anyways, so I got to take some classes. Like there was a rock climbing class that I got to take, which was awesome, especially in Utah, because it was all outdoor and really cool. This wilderness class, we learned a lot about prepping. And of course, it was as in going out and hiking and, what are you going to do if you get lost from your group, how to purify water if you're out by yourself, just things like that. But what I did notice, and I often rolled my eyes at, is that they would, of course, put a lot of it back on, you can use these skills for the second coming. And at a higher institution, I don't think anywhere else it would be like that, other than other religious universities. That's just not something they would bring up. This would be a wilderness survival class, just like any other class, So, yes, I know I chose to go there, although in my mind it wasn't really a choice. That's another rabbit hole. It still was like putting the Mormon agenda even into what was supposed to be a higher education,
Well,
So,
yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of BYU is to bring religion into every single subject. And I have a brother-in-law who's a professor at BYU. I've sat in his class. He is an evolutionary biology teacher. And
that's crazy.
I can confirm to you, I've sat in his biology class, and he brings scripture into it. He brings doctrine into it. And all of the professors at BYU are not just encouraged to do that. It's practically, it is a job requirement.
No, it is, because at the end of each class, at the end of the semester, you get sent surveys for each professor. And a couple of the questions have to do with the church. One of them being like, do you feel like this strengthened your testimony? And another one was, do you feel like the gospel of Jesus Christ was taught through this class or brought into this, something like that? I can't remember. It's been over 20 years since I was there.
Yeah.
But there were questions like that. And that was part of the professor's, I'm assuming, job and tenure, was whether or not they were hitting those marks. So it's interesting that I had some professors that were not LDS, and I specifically chose those professors because they were not LDS, because I got really sick of having that narrative constantly pounded into me in places that I thought shouldn't have been part of the curriculum,
Yeah.
even then, as a true believing, very much part of the church, devout member.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. The reason we're looking into this, because I know we don't want to get too much into the weeds of things, but this has happened now, I can think, in the last few years, 3 separate court cases now, or criminal cases, where people have been harming their family due to specifically Mormon end times belief.
Yeah, and also we should mention, I mean, it's not just court cases or criminal cases. There have been a couple of cases where the whole family is gone.
Yes.
Because of end time beliefs.
Yeah.
A, red rum self-harm situation. That has happened several times, specifically in Mormon families. And I can't make sense of it. And so I think, talking about it with you, Kirsten, it helps remind me, like, I'm not crazy. I'm not reading into this too much. This is literally why this is happening, is because of these beliefs that got instilled in us from birth, making us feel not only like special and important, like we were saved for the last days, but also putting a lot of pressure on us to be that perfect example who is worthy of this generation, who's worthy of being on the earth when Jesus comes. Because there's also that belief that, like, as you mentioned before, everybody who believes in Jesus is going to be fine. Everybody who doesn't is basically going to be destroyed.
Not basically, they make it very clear that they're going to be
tortured
and burned. And I guess if you survive, you're going to wish you were dead, is how I was taught it.
They're going to die in all kinds of nasty ways. And then what is left after the destruction, there's like this part in the Book of Mormon when Jesus dies, where like this whole city gets destroyed, and like rocks are falling on people and buildings are falling down. And so it is apocalyptic. It's very much like, what's left after that, which is why I think people do read into that food storage situation a lot, because they're like, okay, well, when the whole world gets destroyed, I'm going to need a radio and I'm going to need some powdered milk, apparently.
Like in your rolls. Megan has strong feelings about powdered milk.
I do. I have very strong feelings. If you have not heard, I refuse to ever use powdered milk again, even if it means that when the end times come, I have nothing to drink but whiskey.
I mean, like I told you, I'm like, oh, end time. Okay, I'm out. Like, I'm totally fine with that. Once again, me and Megan are different. Megan's like, we can do this, make a new beautiful world. And I'm like, peace. We're cool.
She's like running straight towards the zombies.
I'll be like, I will run into them so they have at least one meal while you can get away. I will do that. So I don't have to search for supplies and make friends with weirdos.
Just so I don't have to build a fire.
Megan, I just had this epiphany. I trust zombies more than I trust humans.
I trust zombies to do what they say they're going to do, which is brains.
Exactly.
They're going to eat the brain.
Exactly.
I trust them. They've proved that they're going to do that.
I mean, do you think that there's going to be some people that they want to eat and there's nothing there?
Yes. They're going to be like,
I said what I said.
Oh my God.
Anyways, leave a brain in the comments if you agree.
If you have some. And
Right.
if the zombies are going to feast, leave a brain. If not, just leave a 0.
Right. So anyways, I mean, I guess when you pair religion with someone that's maybe already prone to anxiety or religious, what is that word?
Scrupulosity.
Thank you.
It just means like a religious
Religious
OCD.
OCD. Yeah, just
Right.
being very zealous. In my mind, this makes for the perfect storm of harming people that are closest to you, because we all know, I mean, I've probably had more anxiety over my children than I have in my entire life combined. Like, it's just a very natural thing to want to protect those close to you.
Yeah.
And sometimes in the absolute worst way possible. You know?
Yeah. And we don't need to go all the way down that rabbit hole, because
No.
I feel like we've been there before. But I will
Yeah.
also tell you that one of my cousins said a very scary thing during an interview. One of my cousins is an extreme prepper. His name is Braxton Southwick. He's been on Doomsday Preppers and on all of these other National Geographic shows.
Yeah.
And during an interview one time, he said that once you've done all of this prepping, you want to be tested. You want it to happen because you've been preparing this whole time. You want to know if your preparations are good enough. You want to know if you've done enough, or if you are going to win, basically. I mean, he didn't use those words, but that's what it sounded like to me. It was like, am I going to win this game of prepping? Like, am I, do I win the extreme prepper trophy, basically?
Yes.
And that's a really, really scary thing, because if you want it to happen, it makes the fear-mongering not fear-mongering anymore. It's like you get into this confirmation bias loop where you're like, see, that's a sign. See, that's a sign. And then you're sort of participating in making it happen. I have a person, I was about to say friend, but I've never met them. I don't even know their real name, but they send me the emails from the Avow website. Avow is called, it's a voice of warning is what it stands for. It's run by Christopher Perrett. It's a prepping group. It's one of those groups that, champion Chad Daybell and his crazy beliefs, put his stuff behind a paywall for people to chat with him online.
I've heard that they were classified as a terrorist group, but
yes.
I was like, I'd heard that, but I can't remember what the source was, so I didn't want to say it out of, my butt. But okay, so you've heard that as well, or maybe you have confirmation. But,
But so this, I think it's once a week. I'll just get one of these emails, and I usually just kind of scan to see what are they talking about. Well, in the last year or so, I think I even did something about this on my other channel. The majority of what they're sending out in these newsletters is inciting civil war. They want a civil war to happen. It's preparing for civil war. And let me just look really quickly, because the last one I got.
And just to confirm, because I don't think we've said it up till now, Avow was started by LDS individuals, correct? And it is primarily, if not only, members of the LDS Church or former members who have maybe been excommunicated or left, or,
Some of them have gotten excommunicated before their extreme beliefs. It's called ldsavow.com. So another voice of warning, AVOW, if you are prepared, ye shall not fear. It's one of the scriptures in the
That's a
Doctrine and
scripture.
Covenants. Yes.
Right. Yep.
So this most recent issue they sent to me, it's not the most recent one, but they sent this to me back in November, saying that there was a shoot on sight order issued. The Latin King Street Gang issued a shoot on sight order targeting agents involved in immigration operations in Chicago. And so there's all of this about, the immigration agents, the timeline of the threat, all of this stuff. And then, it has all of this join today. They've got a little Moroni down at the bottom of the thing. So this is very clearly LDS stuff, but it's also very clearly like They want to talk about violence all the time. And then
Yeah.
occasionally there's prepping.
Right.
What you need to know before stockpiling antibiotics. The most common items preppers forget to stockpile. Warning, the government may be tracking your entry into church buildings. The first things they will seize and how to hide them. What preppers should stock up on this December? Secret U.S. military plan for handling civil unrest. Preparing for civil unrest.
Yeah.
Just continuing to beat this drum of war and preparing for war and us against them mentality. And the other thing is that I found really interesting about this group is that, yes, they are stockpiling things. They are, hoarding things. And the belief, when Chad Daybell was talking about all this stuff, is not that we are saving up all of this stuff so that we can help our neighbors and share. Nope.
No.
It's so that we can gather together as a community and stockpile together. And the people who didn't prep, they don't get to come in. We're not going to share our food with them. We're not going to share our water with them. They cannot use our shelter. Like, it is very much an us versus them type of thing. The people who are prepared
100%
didn't prepare.
Right. Yeah. And again, what I want to keep telling people is, we've talked about this before, but it's not hard for me to see how you would go from being a devout member of the church to going this way. It is extreme, but it is in line with doctrine. That's the thing that makes me so angry, is everyone that is still a member of the church, they're like, well, that's not us. That's not. Yes, it is. You're just not that extreme. It's almost like, well, then you're not really devout, because you're,
right.
I don't want to say that, because I still have a lot of mixed feelings. There are many people in the church that I love and adore and don't have those beliefs. But it feels very dangerous to me for people to deny that it stems from the same doctrine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Obviously I'm not as eloquent as you, because I get passionate and crazy and then I can't think. But when I made my video in jest, waiting for the rapture, I had several people comment on it, of course, reprimanding me for making fun of it. But I did have several members of the church were like, Mormons don't even believe in the rapture. Mormons don't even believe in that. Yes, you do. You just didn't believe it was going to happen that day, because there is scripture saying no one knows what day it's going to come. Right. That is the only reason that they were saying we don't believe in it. No, you just didn't believe it was going to be September 23rd or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah. And then also Mormons want to draw this line in the sand to say, well, we don't believe that literally all the Mormons are going to be taken up into heaven. No, but you do believe that everybody else on earth is going to be destroyed.
Yes.
So isn't that kind of the same thing?
I mean, and let's talk about Adam on Diamond. Like, let's go there. That is supposed to be the place.
I don't want to go there.
I don't either, but I do feel like this is information people need to know. Whether you are an ex-Mormon or never Mormon, these are things that are taught. Adam on Diamond is in, what is it, Illinois, Missouri? Jackson County, Missouri, which the LDS religion believes was the Garden of Eden. That is where the Mormons, Zionists, whatever, that's going to be Zion. In North America, the United States, because this is the blessed country that God gave us. I'm not kidding. Megan is rolling her eyes because she's heard all of this same doctrine. She probably taught it, being a gospel doctrine.
I did teach it. In fact, I was rolling my eyes a little bit because I remember this one comment, this unhinged comment from somebody. And here's the thing about teaching gospel doctrine, is that this is where people's weirdness, this is how you figure out who in your ward is weird and not, because people will make
open forum.
Yes.
It's open forum. Honestly, yes. You do have to raise your hand, but like, you're not going to call on or not call on someone with their hand raised. It really is.
Well,
it's a discussion. It's an open forum. Yes.
You're nicer than me because there were people I would
No.
not call on. But this is how you figure out how not to call on people. You call on someone, you're like, yep, that's the last time. But then also it's super awkward when there's a pause in the lesson and this one person has their hand up and they're the only one with their hand up. And you're like, oh no, what are they going to say
Oh,
now?
no, here it comes, right?
Here's what this person said.
Yes.
You know, if you think about the geography of Jackson County, Missouri, it's really
Oh,
interesting
good
because
Lord. I
it
can just
really is, you know, right now it's not in the exact center of the nation. But if the San Andreas Fault goes
Oh,
and California falls into the ocean, then it will be in the exact center of the nation. And so I feel like that's what's going to happen before the second coming. California is going to fall into the sea. And then Jackson County, Missouri will be in the exact center.
Megan, I don't even want you to say this because what if we have somebody and they're like, that's a good point. Like,
Oh my God.
this
No.
is the thing. Like, I knew Megan was going to say something like this because I too heard things like this in lessons. I remember people making comments. They're like, well, look at the weather in Jackson County. There's so much greenery and so many animals. It makes sense. It was once the Garden of Eden. And I'm like, what?
Kirsten.
And then, yes.
Have you ever been to Jackson County?
I have not. That was literally what was coming out of my mouth. I was going to say, I've never been there, so I don't know if they're telling the truth or not.
I've been there.
Oh, how was it? Was it like a Garden of Eden? Did you feel so at peace there?
It was very ordinary, as you might expect Jackson County, Missouri to be. But to be real, I was already on my way out when this happened.
Yeah.
But I think I've talked about this before. Somebody in my ward, when they passed away, they dedicated a specific amount of money to be used for the specific purpose of taking all of the youth to these church history sites. To Nauvoo, to Adamandiaman, and everything else that's in that area. And my son, my youngest son, was just turning 12-ish around this time. It's before he got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And he wanted to go on this trip. I'm not really sure why, because he left the church very shortly after. But I was not about to let him go on this trip without me being there, because I wanted to know what was being said to him. I did not want him going without me. So I told the bishop, I was like, he can go, but I'm going to. And I brought my youngest daughter with me as well. So we went, to all of these sites and everything. And, we get to glorious Adamandiaman, and it was pretty. That's kind of all I have to say about it. I mean, so I can tell you, like, I have felt strong, peaceful feelings walking into temples before. I've also felt that same strong, peaceful feeling walking into the giant cathedral on Fifth Avenue in New York City. Just a peaceful feeling, a feeling of like rest and whatever.
Right.
I expected to feel something like that when I stepped onto the property that is literally where the Garden of Eden was, like it was a sacred place. Like, this is where Jesus is going to come again.
According to Mormons, just to be very, very clear.
Yes. If this were indeed the place that Jesus was going to arrive, I expected to feel some kind of something. Now, Mormons will hear this and they'll be like, well, you didn't feel it because you just
were
weren't
doubting.
You were doubting and you wanted it to not be special. No, I pretty much wanted it to be special. It was one of those things where I was like, if this is real, then I'm going to have that same feeling that I've had in other sacred places. And I just didn't.
Right. Yeah. All right.
This is my old Mormon hymn book.
There was a hymn about Adamandiaman. So for those who don't believe us. They really, really believe that this is going to be awesome. Megan has pulled some pictures, but first we desire you to hear the words of this sacred hymn.
Okay, so here are the words to the hymn, Adamandiaman.
On Adam, on
And why,
Diamond.
Kirsten, why did Joseph Smith call it this? Do you
Because
know?
he's a weirdo. No, I'm
Yeah.
sure it's probably in the CES letter or
It's
something.
just a made up name. It's just a made up name. By the
Yeah.
way, Joseph Smith used to make up a lot of stuff. I don't know if you know that.
What? What? I too have once put a rock in a hat and felt things coming to me.
Kirsten,
I happen to be high, but
we need to make rocks to put in our hats.
as merch.
Yes.
Oh
Seer
my god,
stones.
we could make them all different colors to go with like your
And have a little
personality. Be
bag of
like,
rocks.
this is the Sagittarius seer stone, and have like pink glitter on it. This is a good idea. I'm not kidding.
I agree with you.
Write this down. Write this down.
I don't need to write it down. I'll remember. Just kidding. I know I won't.
We can put it in our Ex Mormon hats. Oh, I love this.
Yes.
This is a good idea. Anyways.
So, for those of you who are paying attention during the temple ceremony, during the most culty part, when you're standing in a circle all dressed in white and robes and whatnot, holding each other's hands in the secret handshake, you let go of hands for a minute just to say, oh God, hear the words of my mouth 3 times. It used to be, though, that they said, Pele ale, Pele ale, Pele ale. And that was because Joseph Smith made up a language called the Adamic language, which is the language that Adam used, I guess, I don't know. And so that's where this name comes from also. It's part of the Adamic language it means holy land or something like that.
Right.
Right.
It's so funny because I haven't talked about this in so long, and every time I even think about it, I'm just like, what the hell? How is this church still going? Like,
it's built on lies and patriarchy. It's going to go forever.
Yeah.
Clip that. All right.
To the hymn.
This earth was once a garden place with all her glories common. Glories? I don't know.
Yep.
And men did live a holy race and worship Jesus face to face in Adam, Andai, Amen. We read that Enoch walked with God above the power of Mammon. Opposite
I remember
God,
that part. Yeah.
Satan.
Yeah.
While Zion spread herself abroad. Ooh, she spread herself abroad.
As she should. That old broad, not abroad. She spread herself abroad.
And saints and angels sang aloud in Adam Andai Amen. Her land was good and greatly blessed beyond all Israel's Canaan. Her fame was known from east to west. Her peace was great and pure, the rest of Adam Andai Amen. Only one more verse to go, guys. We're almost done.
It's really not that pretty of a song, too. It's like that's
all. That's all. We can't do more than that. We'll get struck. It's actually a hymn tune that is fairly commonly used for actual hymns. And the Mormons
I did not know.
Bastardized everything. Yeah, it's just a common hymn tune. Anyway, Hosanna to such days to come, the Savior's second coming, when all the earth in glory's bloom affords the saints a holy home like Adam Andai Amen.
Wait, Megan, real quick. I just want to be clear. So it wasn't in Rexburg, Idaho?
No. It was not.
Okay. Just
however, I have heard rumors and news reports that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is selling off a lot of its land in that area. So,
yeah, I have heard that as well.
Also, the Mormons also believe that they are going to be the ones that ultimately possess the temple in Jerusalem.
Correct. Which I always thought was very interesting.
That's pretty egocentric
Yeah.
of them to believe that they deserve to possess that.
Well, I mean, is that really that surprising? What isn't egocentric about them? I mean,
Yeah.
they think their agenda is more important and higher than anybody else's.
Yeah.
And with that mindset, it's very easy to justify poor actions because
Yes.
the end justifies the means, right?
Exactly. They believe they're doing all of this for the greater good.
Yeah.
And so
there we are.
Yeah.
So let's see the pictures, Megan. What does it look like? This beautiful garden place where Jesus is going to gather. Okay. So this is Adam on Diamond. This amazing tree.
This is the place where Jesus is going to come again. So there's some trees and there's another tree. It's kind of a cool tree. I like trees.
It doesn't look any different than if you went to like South Carolina or like it just.
There's the same tree, just a different lighting. Okay, you can't see any of these people's faces, so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
But it's a big field. There's a grove of trees. There's some farmland over there. I mean, this is basically what it is. And there's a dirt road that goes through it. That's it. Like, this is the place that Jesus is going to come. This is like the sacred holy ground that the Mormons believe is sacred and holy.
It's just weird. Like,
kind of pretty.
I feel like it's the same with the sacred grove. Like, people come back and they're like, I walked in it and I felt the spirit and like have all these amazing things. But all the times that I've seen pictures, I haven't been there. Excuse me. It just looks like any other green area to me.
Yeah.
I felt very spiritual and I guess close to God or whatever. In any time I was outdoors camping or, spending time, I think just being quiet in this meditative state, you're going to feel that way. It doesn't matter where you are. And I could like name my backyard that and tell people that's what it is and play some lovely music and they're going to feel the same way.
Yeah.
Well, like that's just what it is. It's just
I agree.
That's how our bodies work. We feel good and goosebumps and emotional.
Outside in nature with the negatively charged ionic air. It's just what it does to us. We're human beings.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's it.
That's it. Very exciting.
Oh, also, there was a little birdie that walked right up to me.
Oh, that is
a little baby blue jay.
It's the Garden of Eden, Megan. The animals are kind.
I feel like he probably was sick or something.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is just an unremarkable.
This is far west Missouri, everyone. There was supposed to be a temple there. I think there was a
shocker
at some point.
There's always a temple there. There's always a temple somewhere.
It's a pretty field.
But so I had a thought that I remembered from also being a Ute, as Joe Pesci would say.
Yeah. Youths.
The defendants. Anyway, if you know that quote, leave it below. You're a real one. Anyway, so there are famous youth speakers, John By the Way, Brad Wilcox. They're all in that same like inspiring, good with the youth speakers, right? And I believe it was a talk by John By the Way that I don't even remember if I was there in person or if I just listened to it online. I don't remember how I heard it. Maybe it was on a tape. Who knows? Because guys, back in the day, you could buy cassette tapes at Deseret Book of certain talks.
Right.
Pretty exciting. Anyways, so there was a talk, I'm pretty sure it's John By the Way, given about how the youth of today were as if they were the key team players on a football team. He was like, basically, the history of the earth was a football game. And we were in the fourth quarter. And we're put in on the earth during this football game in the fourth quarter because we're the best of the best. right? And they're like, Joseph Smith is the quarterback and you might be the wide receiver, or you're in like telling what the different positions would be. I'm serious. I
Joseph
remember
Smith
this
is
so
the
well.
quarterback?
That's what they said.
All right.
And right. And he's like, and remember your good teammate Brigham Young and Ezra Taft, literally going like this, right? Saying that we're on the team with the prophets and
Okay,
all
but
these things.
there's more prophets than there are supposed to be.
Megan.
Okay, sorry.
Megan.
Sorry.
This is Mormonism. Do you not remember?
Don't
It does
ask
not make
questions.
sense. Doubt your doubts, Megan.
Okay. Doubting. Oh, you know what? I bet what's going to happen is that there's going to be a revelation that there can actually now be hundreds of people on a football team at once.
Only if they're playing for BYU. So, anyways, I want Joe Montana. That's all I'm saying. Anyways. So it's going like this. And then it's like, you guys, you're right at the end. And think about how you're trying to perform and make sure we're going to win. And he's like, and then think about your children in heaven watching you and cheering you on. I'm not kidding. Like, how manipulative is that? He's like, when you fumble the ball, how does that feel? How does your kids feel watching you? You're fumbling the ball. You're making it so we're losing and everyone's watching you. And this is the end of the game. So if you fumble the ball, you could make the entire game just lose.
So Kirsten, don't get up.
Exactly. How much pressure is that on a child to think you're like, My
children are watching me fail from heaven.
That's literally like got in my soul. I was like, oh my God, I haven't even given birth to them and they're already disappointed in me. And as someone who felt like a constant disappointment to their family, that might have effed me up a little bit. Just a little bit, thinking that these children I'm bringing into the world in the future already think I'm a terrible mother is how I was feeling.
Yeah.
So it's just, again, showing that like feeling the urgency to be perfect and be prepared and make sure that you're doing everything you can to usher in Jesus is a very, very big deal. There was even, do you remember like there was a big push to grow your own food? The prophet said to plant a garden. So that's what we'll do. Like there's a children's song about it and stuff.
Yeah, we had a garden and
so did we.
Garden all the time.
Yes, our garden was quite small, and it sucked all of the time. And this is a funny story. I think I've shared this with you, but my mom had really done well doing like peas, strawberries, carrots, and then a lot of lettuce. So she was so excited. The lettuce was like doing well. She went and got some and she made herself a sandwich, washed everything, got it all ready, got the meal, like the ham, it's all ready to go. Beautiful. She took a bite and she looked at it and she saw pepper on it. And she was like, I didn't put pepper on this. So she opened it. Megan, it was not pepper. It was moving pepper. If you get my drift. And she spit it in the sink and threw away the sandwich and she never gardened again. She was like, I'm not eating bugs just because the prophet said to.
Well, you do have to wash the bugs off.
She thought she did. But I mean, we did always have strawberries, but the birds always ate them. So I guess that was kind of not good either. I don't know.
Yeah, there was a big push, I think, when your parents were young, to grow your own food, have your own garden, and then do all of the canning and stuff. And look, fine, that works great when you live in Utah because Utah has very fertile soil. They grow a lot of fruit there. Things grow very well there with minimal attention.
Yeah.
In Texas, however,
nothing.
It is very difficult to grow food in Texas. And tomatoes do okay, but if you don't water them twice a day, they're going to shrivel up and die. And the thing is, like, you really, it takes a great amount of effort to grow food. So I had a garden when my kids were little. I grew some potatoes. My mom was like, "You're never going to be able to grow potatoes."
So of course you made sure
Can't
you
grow
did.
potatoes in Texas because she's from Idaho. And so of course I grew potatoes because I was like, "See?" But also I learned very quickly. I had about, my lot was just a little less than a quarter of an acre. And so I could have grown a lot of food on there. But this first little garden was, I bought this book called Square Foot Gardening. It was all about planning things and planting things together. It was about permaculture mainly, you know, companion planting and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm just going to try this out for one season. And then next year I'll know what I'm going to plant everywhere. I worked so hard on that garden. I spent so much time on it. And do you know how much food that I got out of my garden?
Nothing.
It was about 4 feet by 4 feet. I grew squash, beans, and potatoes. And when it was time to harvest the potatoes, I got enough to fill up an egg carton, which was enough to make one dish of mashed potatoes. That was not enough to feed the 8 people in my family. So
sad.
So I was like, okay, so if I want this to be sustainable and I want to grow enough potatoes to last my family, I would have to fill my entire yard with potato plants. You know? So it's really hard to grow food down here. And so like the idea, that's one of the other reasons why it's like everything is so Utah centric. It's not just American centric, it's Utah centric. Because I think like the brethren have no idea what life is like anywhere, because they live this little idyllic life in a bubble. And they're like, my grandfather had a garden. I think it's a good thing for all the members to have a garden. Never mind the fact that he grew his garden in 1900 and our farm was 63 acres and he had all kinds of farm help. You know, it's just, even
farm help.
Okay, so my partner has relatives who have land in Montana and they have a ranch there. It's impossible for them to keep good help because there aren't enough farm workers anymore, people who do that kind of stuff for a living. So they ended up having to get rid of all their horses and do different things with their land. It's like, it's just not a sustainable type of a thing. So I feel like telling the members to grow a garden is just as tone deaf as all of the other things they tell us to do, because they have no idea what real life is like. Because they're up there in their little ivory tower. We've talked about this before. All of their, everything is paid for. They have a 6-figure stipend. They have a car allowance. They have a clothing allowance. They have a little commissary that they go to for all of their sundries and toiletries. And everywhere they go, people throw roses at their feet and kiss their hands and tell them how amazing they are. They have no idea what actual real life is like.
Nope. It's insane.
But make sure you have your year's supply of food storage. Plus,
which you can buy from them.
Plus, keep paying your tithing. Well, yes, not only do you have to pay for it, but you also have to go down to the center to fill the cans with beans and seal the cans yourself, because they're not going to employ somebody to do that.
No.
You're going to do it. You're going to pay for the privilege of making your own cans of food storage. Beans, wheat, hot cocoa,
sugar, all those
milk, all the staples of life.
I think they have the powdered mashed potatoes too. Or instant mashed potatoes.
Potato pearls. Everyone, life is too short to eat powdered mashed potatoes. Don't do it.
And they're so easy to get, man. Just go. It's so cheap.
We have plenty of real potatoes. Let's just
This
eat
is not the Irish potato famine. Like, no. Go get you some potatoes. They last forever. Like,
they do last a really long time.
They do. So, I mean,
and even when they kind of they look like maybe they're not good anymore, they're still good. You can
they're still good.
They're still fine.
Just cut cut the eyes off. You know, it's no big
just
deal.
eat the real potatoes. Good Lord.
I mean, I feel like we're talking in circles, but at the end of the day, I really want people to realize that although obviously it's not only Mormons that get into this prepper thing, it is very much a part of their doctrine. It's in the name of the church. It's harming people just like the church harms people in so many other ways. And I want them to take accountability. I want them to take accountability and say, you know what, this is doctrine that we've been preaching. You know what, we've been saying it's an end times for a long time. Saturday's Warriors, every generation is Saturday's Warrior.
For 200 years, we've been saying that it's the end times. Well, actually, Christianity goes back 2,000 years. They've been saying, they've been expecting it 2,000 years.
I mean, if you're Jewish, it's even longer than that because it wasn't Jesus. Right. So it's a long time to be waiting.
The Messiah hasn't come yet.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So they've been waiting a long time.
Also, yeah.
Yeah, right.
I just have to say, when I finally left everything behind, when I left the church, when I lost all of my belief, the thing that made me the most sad is the years of my life that I wasted postponing all of my happiness for some future time, thinking that the next life was going to be where I could finally have peace and happiness and enjoyment. And I'm so glad that I realized it was all fake, because now I have the rest of my life to really live. And to not just keep postponing my happiness until some future time. And that's what I'm grateful for now, is that, like, I get to choose what's important to me. I get to choose what I value. I get to choose how I'm going to spend the time that I have here. And it makes everything so much more valuable and more precious to me, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Everything is so much more meaningful without religion for me.
I agree. And this is just top of my head because I just celebrated my anniversary with my husband, John. Been together 10 years. And I was thinking about this a lot yesterday, that if I had stayed in my religion and stayed religious in general, I never even would have dated him, let alone married him. And look how many amazing things have come into my life because I did. You know, I was given a lot of flack from my family even for dating him because he was not religious. He was raised Catholic, but not practicing, you know, and he definitely wasn't Mormon. Yeah. And I was given so much crap for it. And think of all the amazing things I would have missed out on, you know, how much happiness that our family has and our partnership, even to my children, you know, having him in their life. And how can you say that it's a bad thing to leave all of that behind in order to get something literally so much greater?
Yeah.
You know, I never would have imagined I could be this happy and have an amazing relationship and have a wonderful family life. You know, I never would have thought I ever could have had that, because when I was doing all the things that God told me I was supposed to do, I was miserable. I was absolutely miserable. And I lied to myself that I had true joy in my heart because the gospel of Jesus Christ brings you a fullness of joy. No, it doesn't. It makes you depressed and anxious and makes you hurt your family because you think Jesus is coming. Like I said what I said with my full chest, 10 toes down. It doesn't. And everybody says that they are fully happy. You have no idea what happiness is, I assure you.
Yeah.
You know,
happiness for me is being free from fear, guilt, and shame.
Yes.
That's what makes me happy.
I second that.
I
second it.
I'm not afraid of anything.
Yeah.
I don't feel guilty about anything. And I'm not ashamed of who I am.
Yeah.
And the thing is that's so crazy is that I have the same values. So we've talked about this before. I have the same values that I had when I was in the church. I still believe in leaving the world a better place than I found it. I still believe in kindness. I still believe in treating my fellow human beings with kindness and respect. I believe in truth. I believe, you know, I believe a lot of the same things.
Yep.
I just don't feel bad that I'm not enough anymore.
Yeah. I agree. And out of the mouth of two witnesses.
That's right.
So stick that in your pipe and smoke it, Mormon. Well, I guess they don't smoke. Put that in your herbal tea and drink it.
Oh my gosh.
Well, on that note, of course.
I appreciate the snarkian in me appreciates the snarkian in you.
We need another saying like namaste, but like, I don't even know what. Snarkiste. I don't know. Snarkieste.
Something. We'll come up with something. It'll be brilliant. You guys will love it.
Right. Hopefully you guys have learned something from this. Hopefully we can make a little bit of a change that people see that this could be really harmful doctrine. I don't know. It was good to talk about it, kind of get it off my chest. And I want you to know, Megan, I don't think you're Saturday's warrior.
I don't believe that you are a warrior reserved for Saturday, Kirsten.
I don't either. I also don't think I'm going to be the quarterback in the fourth quarter, disappointing my children. I disappoint them in way other ways, I assure you.
You know, I also think that if we were real football players, you know, fumble the ball or get a touchdown, you still get paid.
Hey, that's true. How much do you think that, what's his name, Young?
Steve Young?
How much tithing do you think Steve Young paid over his life? I'm just curious.
Probably a lot.
$40 million. 10% went to the church, and that doesn't include all the other things I'm sure he got.
He got a $40 million contract in 1984, which is insane.
Wow. Go Steve, man.
So at least $4 million. But as you know, when someone gives more than $1 million to the church, they send someone out to that person in person and ask them to give more.
And everyone's going to come for us and say we're lying. I don't care if you think we're lying. We're not. Yeah. We do not care. We do not care if you think we're lying.
You know what? We no longer care.
Exactly. Okay, for real. Thank you guys for being here. Don't forget to leave your zombie brains below.
That's right.
So we can feed everyone.
A brain or a zero.
We love you guys. See you on Monday.
See you Monday. Don't forget, family night.
Bye.